Sounds about right. Hey, welcome everybody to our Wednesday night How to Mentor a New Coach call. It is the 15th of October, and my name is Christy Broom, and I live here in Wichita, Kansas on this beautiful day we had. It was crazy beautiful. But we're going to talk tonight about three-way story calls. What are they? When do you do one? How do you do one? And why would you want to do one? So three-way story calls are awesome. Just plain and simple, they're awesome. And there is a Prezi, which should be in your coaching group, like in the files, so that you could watch this little Prezi that Kim put together, and it's awesome. It walks you right through it. So if you haven't watched that, go look for that and find it and watch it. It's awesome. But honestly, what is a three-way story call? It's not to get someone to be a coach, okay? So clean that out of your thinking, because then nobody's going to want to do one, because you don't want to get anyone to be a coach. I like to think of it as a client spotlight call. And so I tell my coaches, even pick a client of the week that you would like to spotlight and just kind of get in the routine of doing these three-way story calls. Now, to set up the call, you're going to tell this client, you know what, Susie, I am so proud of you and your success. And I was bragging about you the other day to my mentor coach, Christy, and she loves what she does, and she would love to hear your story. And she's awesome. Oh my gosh, she's so awesome. You're going to want to meet her. Like, you really have to pump up the mentor in the client's eyes, because why would they want to meet this person, right? So you have to pump it up like it's going to be a great call. They can't wait to meet you, hear your story. I'm so proud of you. When can we get together and do just a little three-way call with my coach, and you can share your story with her, okay? Because now the client feels like, oh, wow, she's really proud of me, and I can't wait to share my story with this Christy that I've never met, and she wants to meet me and hear my story. Okay, I'm kind of excited, right? Now, you just say to your client, hey, Susie, you're doing awesome. I was talking to my coach the other day, and she wanted us to set up a call to talk. Would you want to do that? What are they going to say?
Yes.
They're going to say, who's that? I don't know them, and why would I want to do a call? So I'm just saying, you have to really prepare that and prep that to get them excited to be on a call with your coach, number one. Then on the coaching call, or on the three-way story call, it really is a story call. I get excited. I want to meet the client. I want to hear their story. And whatever, accomplishments they have, I want to be very genuine and congratulate them on that. And if I hear, I'll ask them questions about if people are noticing, what their favorite parts of the program are. If they are noticing now too more that they're getting healthy, if there are people in their world, do they notice more now how many people could really use help and the help of a program, and just kind of get their feedback from that. But you can't push it. So if it's a good fit, then I'll just kind of lightly touch on, hey, have you ever thought of, helping your friends and family? And then go into how much fun we have. But then I also brag up the coach, the client's coach, and tell them how great she is, of a coach, and you're so lucky to have her or him. And I only have female coaches right now, but and really brag them up in their eyes, so that that the client feels like, I was edifying their coach, like how great their coach was. And so it's a good call no matter what happens. You congratulate the client. They feel like they have another layer of support of someone that cares for them. You edify the coach in their eyes. So sometimes the client will tell you things that the coach has never, ever heard, which happens a lot. And the coach wants to say, wait a minute, I didn't know any of this. But your role as the coach is just really to put the call together and then just sit back and listen and not say anything. And that's hard. But just listen, because you're going to learn as a coach what the mentor is saying, how to coach your client. You're going to maybe find out things about your client that he or she is struggling with that you didn't know. And then you're going to hear the mentor and how they help coach your client. It's just really a win-win-win. I mean, there's the worst case scenario, there isn't one. There really isn't one. The best case scenario would be that the client says, yeah, I have actually thought about coaching and I would love to know more, and maybe the conversation goes into a little bit more on coaching. But if that doesn't come up, I always say, you know what, if you ever want to talk more about that, get with Kelly. She's awesome. She's an awesome coach, but she's really awesome mentor coach too. So if you have any questions about that, just ask her. She'll tell you. But, I love your personality or your enthusiasm or whatever's true. And I think we'd love to have you. We'd love to have you help more people get healthy. And then I just wrap up the call basically and thank them for their time. So they're awesome calls and they're short, like 15, 20 minutes maybe. They don't take much time, but you're going to learn more about your client. Again, you're going to make the client feel awesome. Any feedback or questions about that? Anything to add? Kelly, I know we've done a lot of them together. I'm rambling, so did I miss anything?
No, we have done a lot of them, and something, I really did a lot of them in what I consider slower months when maybe I was collecting a lot of yeses, but maybe I didn't have a huge influx of clients coming on or anything. And I just at one point was like, Christy, do you want to meet all my clients? And she was like, yeah, I do. I was like, all right. And I was setting them up sometimes 2, 3, 4 a week there for a while. And I've gotten kind of busy right now and we aren't doing quite as many, but usually when I set it up, and she's met most of my clients by now, but usually when I set them up, I do really talk up Christy a lot. And something that I've said too is, Christy has taught me everything I need to know to be a good coach. And so it's a lot of fun for her to hear when clients are doing so awesome like you are. And that helps them be like, oh, okay, and then it already kind of gives them a vision into how our system works too, right? Like somebody taught me how to be a coach. And I like that. And that usually lets them be like, oh, okay, yeah, I really want to share with her or whatever. And I have not had one. I've learned some things that I didn't know were going on with a few clients, but all of them have been really, really good.
Awesome. I like it too because then in our client group, I'll recognize their name. And so when I give them a little shout out, I can mention something that maybe came up on the call that I knew about them, or something. And it just makes them feel more supported, I think. They appreciate it more because, oh yeah, now I know who that is, where I talked to her the other day. So it's another layer of support, which is really cool. You brought up a lot of good points, Kelly. That was good. Anybody else? Questions, comments? Mm-mm. Have you all done 3-way story calls?
Mm-hmm.
Yes? Do you have any snags about a 3-way story call? If you haven't done very many, or do you have any snags about that? Like what could go wrong? No?
No, I think the last one that I did with you, Christy, you didn't bring up the coaching thing with her just because of the way the call went. And it was good for me to hear it that way, I think too, besides, bringing it up so you hear the other way of it going so you don't, I don't know, I guess it's nice to get both sides of a conversation that way.
Yeah, good. Well, and that's something that I really try to stay true to is if it's not a good fit, like if it just is not going to fit in that conversation, I'm not going to force it because they're going to know it's forced. And then they're going to feel like, oh, well, she just got me on this call to try to get me to be a coach. And that is not what we want. Do we want to offer it to them? Absolutely, if it's a good fit. But if somebody's grumpy or all they can do is complain about stuff, you know what? The best part about this job is you get to pick the people that you want to work with. And I'm not going to be faking about that. Like, I do not want somebody like that on my team. Sorry about your luck, but we're not going to talk about coaching. So yeah, I just be very authentic with that. If it's a good fit, sneak it in there just really nicely, but lightly touch on it. Yeah, we don't try to go for the close. Like, oh yeah, you need to be a coach. Do you want to sign up right now? Should we get it coming and see what happens? Like, we don't do that at all. It's really just a great way to give another layer of support, and I like it. So, how do you do a story call? Basically, I listened to someone else do it, and I watched that Prezi that Kim did, and I've watched it several times, and as she was doing it, I would pause and I would take notes of things that she would say, and then I just practice. So there's really no secret magical way. I guess I just has anybody else done a 3-way story call?
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, I was just going to say, I did watch the Prezi, but having done so many with you, I kind of know it now. And I've had conversations go both ways too. So that's been really helpful for me too. We've had more than one that it just it wasn't going to be a good fit. And maybe I even knew that when I set the story call up. Maybe it was somebody who was struggling. But yeah, I definitely watched the Prezi, but having heard you do it so many times, it kind of seems to just be there now. Because I've listened to you say it so many times.
True. And if you have, and make sure when you're setting up the call that you let the mentor coach know if this person is a true story call, or if you have touched on health coaching and this person wants to know more about health coaching, just so the mentor knows which way to go with it. And it's also very nice if you're going to do a call with your mentor or do a 3-way story call them like 5 minutes before and give them a debrief of who this is, what you've talked about. And so, because when you're talking to a lot of people, I can't keep it all straight. So I need to know, like, right before the call, who this is, what their name is, what their, background is, and why we're doing the call. And that helps a lot. And all it really is a third-party validation. So it's a third-party validation of how well they're doing on their program, maybe how awesome their personality is. Maybe you've seen them in the client site, and thank them for, you've been watching them and thank them for all their enthusiasm and their positivity and their support in the group. And then if the coach has already talked to them about coaching, it's just a third party saying, you know what, I don't know you, but just from this little bit that I have talked to you, you kind of rock, if that's true. And have you ever thought about joining us and helping more people get healthy? And it's just, sometimes that coach can say something, it's kind of like your mom and then your best friend's mom, right? So when your mom tells you something over and over again, all you hear after bed is wah, 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 wah. And then the best friend mom says the same thing, and you're like, oh my God, Sally's mom is so smart. She said this, that, and the other, and the mom's going, really? Because I've been saying that for the last 5 years. So it's just that third party, somebody else, another voice. It's magical. And I love that, just thinking about it as a little client spotlight story, and recognizing them for a job well done and encouraging them to continue on and with their goals and all that stuff, and any other support you can give them. So good. So now let's just open it up. Any questions on anything else?
I just wanted to say, I wasn't able to get on last week when you guys did this call, but I listened and watched the playback. And first of all, mentoring a coach terrifies me. Christy probably knows that, but when I started coaching, my coach was not very good at giving me any guidance at all. And she kind of stopped right after I became a coach. So thank goodness for Christy helping me, doing what I needed to do. But last week's call was very informational for me on all the questions everyone asked, kind of answered a lot of questions I had. So I'm starting to get a little bit more confidence in myself and what to do, because I've been a coach long enough I should have coaches under me, but I don't. So
Okay.
I'm very much working on getting my confidence up to being better about approaching the coaching with some of my clients. So just wanted to put it out there.
I'm glad you did. And just so you know too, Carrie, you're not alone. We're a team, right?
Right.
So when you get a new coach, I wouldn't say, okay, good luck.
Yeah.
I would want to mentor them with you and
Mhm.
teach you how to mentor. Just like we do practice calls when you're a brand new coach, with your clients, and we kind of walk with you and step with you and help you. That's what we do when you become a mentor too. Is I just would walk with you and teach you as we go. And we'd be on phone calls together. Every email we do, we would CC all the parties in together. So you're always in the conversation. You always know what's going on. And every step I take, we'd take it together so you would learn. So you don't have to be worried about that if you got a new coach.
Right. And I know that. Yeah. And that's the thing I keep telling myself, that when I do get a new coach, that's what I'm going to tell her, is that, I'm not just going to throw you in there and say, okay, I'll talk to you sometime.
Right.
I don't know when, because I never did any practice calls or anything with my coach when I started.
Right.
It was really scary. So I'm just being totally honest here. So just saying, these calls really help me. So.
Okay, good. Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad. I'm glad they're helpful. They've had a lot of good feedback, so I'm glad.
Good.
Even though we're small tonight because everybody's out celebrating the Royals winning. But that's good. Good feedback. Anything else? Okay. Well, that's all I had for you tonight. So get some client spotlight calls going. They're magical, and they're just awesome. They lift everybody's spirits, the mentor coach included, because it is fun. It's fun to hear the stories of the people that are succeeding and to watch your coach shine, because they're doing such a great job coaching the client, and so it's a win-win-win. So just get some set up. I would say a goal would honestly be just think about doing one a week.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be attached to the outcome, because remember, if they became a coach, that would be a bonus. But just like with clients, right? Just getting the word out. We're just getting the word out about what else we have to offer them. This is another part of the program that we have to offer them. And honestly, it's the most fun part, because supporting someone else and watching them succeed is awesome. So,
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks guys for being on.
Thank you.
That was helpful. And we'll see you soon.